ourselves to. It's going to be something that's going to take quite a bit of time before it's finally implemented, but we have a good start on it. It's something we really need here, as I've been in service for a long time and EMS for a while, and to be able to coordinate it and get things together with what we've seen for weather and other parts, we've been very fortunate. And have something in place to be able to handle this is looking to be more and more necessary as time goes on. So that's the emergency services. The highway, we're going to actually meet as a committee here in the next few days, I hope, not before too long. And we've been, as Kevin said, negotiating to get the contract settled with the highway members, their employees. Actually, that was a very, to be blunt, painless experience. We did pretty well, both sides, and I hope it goes that way every year, every time a contract comes up. It was productive and polite and professional. And I appreciate that. Basically, as far as the solid waste, Jim has pretty much handled what's going on with that. I've missed a meeting, but we've been kept up on that, courtesy of him. And that's pretty much what I have at this point.
At last week's board meeting, Jim had brought up a subcommittee for the Parks Department to talk about alternative sources of revenue, because obviously writing grants is painful. But it had people coming to me asking some questions about how our committees work, and I think it's a good time to clarify that we have all these wonderful committees, thanks to a lot of volunteers who give up their time, come home from work, grab a bite to eat, and then give lots of hours of their month to being on these committees, and we're very grateful to that. It's important to point out that these committees make recommendations only, and then if we need to, we vote on those. So an example would be the Occupancy Tax Committee. They make recommendations, and they bring those recommendations to the board, and we vote yes or no on those. So I think that's an important thing to clarify. We have 13 committees and a subcommittee now. And looking at them, some of them, like the personnel committees, just Jim and I, but we do have several committees that are co-chaired by a volunteer. And having sat on lots of boards over the years, I think we have committees that are working really, really well right now. And without micromanaging or coming up with bylaws, it might be a good time to think about what are some standards of practice and standards of what we're looking for, and not having gatekeeping, allowing some fresh perspectives to come in. And I think one of the things is maybe talking about rotating in leadership. So if we have volunteer co-chairs, maybe saying every 2 years we rotate in new leadership in that role. So we're not always having the same person there. You're going to have some historical knowledge, and you're going to have continuity that's going to come from leadership from the board. And certainly you're not kicking that person out. They could still stay on the committee. And they also may say, we don't want to do this anymore. It's a graceful way to exit. But I think just some food for thought as we look at having 13 standing committees. And they're really working well right now. So how do we make them continue to work well?
Well, and I think the other thing too is I worked with volunteers for most of my professional life, and the last thing you want to do is burn them out.
Exactly.
You don't want to burn them out, and you will.
And making space for new people who want to come in, like
Absolutely.
the Lily Gechters, and the Matt Burns and those kind of folks.
Yep.
So just
I
some
agree.
things to think about. Occupancy tax was due today, so I hope you turned them in. And for marketing, we got quotes back from Garnet Signs. So the really nice ones that would have carved and relief are going to be about $1,000 each, which is,
Sweet.
about what I thought they would be. There is additional cost if we're going to look at installation, but we could also do installation in-house, and he's totally fine with that. So I'll be sharing that with the marketing committee to look at, and then if we make that decision, then we would share that with the group. And that's all. Everything else is sort of just at a standstill, unfortunately, right now, or fortunately.
I was at county last week. I cannot recall if it was Wednesday or Thursday, but I was in the DPW meeting, and I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name. Scott's his first name. He's in charge of solid waste for the county. Thank you, Scott Royal. And he's got data. I will present it at the next meeting, but it looks like county will be taking over the hauling for the town, and it will be a significant savings for the town as opposed to what we're currently paying Waste Management. But I will give you all that data at the next meeting. Again, I had a brief glance at it, but I'm not want to open up my mouth and say some things and find out that I'm wrong. But it is, I mean, people will be very happy at the end of the day. Yeah, they see that as a major expenditure for every town throughout the county, and they're trying to do what they can to help us at least save some money here and there whenever possible. It looks to be, and again, I want to be careful about what I say. Pardon me? Yes. Not materials, it's hauling, yes. And I will have that information for everybody next time around. Jim?
Yep. I'd just like to piggyback a little bit on what Anna said about the committees. We sit up here and I might explain a resolution, and it's the culmination of the work of a committee. I have the privilege of working on a couple of that are just great committees. Our solid waste committee is, I think, made a lot of improvements this year. We found savings, and that's the hard work of the people on the committee. The sewer committee outdates me by about 5 years in their involvement. The sewer report, I can report that today our sewer was, it went out to bid and it got listed on the contract reporter. So that's a major milestone. Longer than I thought it would take when I took office, but it is out, and people can bid on it. Cedarwood is helping to manage some of that bid process. There's going to be a pre-bid meeting for available contractors here in the beginning of October. Bids are due October 29th. We'll open those bids, look at them, and it's our hope that in the first meeting of November that we will be able to vote on a contractor to build our sewer system. So that's kind of the timeline at that point. So that's sewer. Parks Department, if you've been up to the park, you'll see that the new timing building / summer snack hut for the upper field has been put in place, and Orta's now working on the finishing touches to that. I think they're going to be adding a window or two and trenching in electricity to that building. So that's there set. I think the building matches a Joe Minder in appearance, and it looks like it should have been there a long time ago. So that's Parks Department, and then again, solid waste. We're continuing to look at the data, and come up with a whole package of improvements that we can make with vendors at the solid waste or at the transfer station starting in January. Aware, Gene, that probably having a decision for December is preferable, so that you can get cards and we can educate people of the changes.
For like household waste kind of thing, or just everything in general?
Everything in
Okay,
general.
sure.
Yeah. So we're going to try.
Punch cards, I can do my next trip through, that's not a big deal.
Okay,
It's the free household, however that plays out, whether I have to do them or not do them.
Yeah.
Because they do expire December 31st
Yeah.
of this year.
so it's our goal to try and get those recommendations for the December meeting.
Cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
Stevens,
I would like to speak about our senior citizens. I know that our town board supports very highly. We're very supportive of youth organizations and all of the activities there. And I think that it's important that we just kind of touch base on what has been happening with our senior, with some of our senior citizens, and what are some of the available services that are available to them. This year, the Gore Mountain Senior Group has been able to enjoy a few different venues that they've been able to enjoy a few different events. One was a dinner and a show at Lake George. Another was a cruise on Lake George, a cruise on Racket Lake, and then a senior picnic was being held down at the Warrensburg Fish Hatchery. Our senior meal site, that is one of the areas where myself and my wife usually are attending there, except for the days when they have some things that aren't really our favorite. But anyways, just speaking to the meal site over there, they serve and have go out on Meals on Wheels, approximately 25 meals each day. So that is the staff that is there, and that is also volunteer drivers to take care of that. Senior transportation is one of the questions that came along. And that was one of the reasons that I started looking into a few things. I contacted Deanna Park, the director of Office for the Aging. And she was very helpful in giving me information on what is available to our town, through our county, what is available for transportation for seniors. The first and the third Thursday of each month, Warren County, working with and through the Office for the Aging, does offer bus transportation for seniors to go to Glens Falls. Other than that, for medical purposes, we do have volunteer drivers that are available for that. At the present time, she notified me that there is only one driver in all of Warren County. There is one driver to supply all of the medical transport. If anyone is interested in being a volunteer driver for the county does pay mileage. So that is one thing. And Deanna Park, once again, the director for the Office for the Aging, did say that at some point in time, if our town board would like to have her come and speak to some of the things that her office does and what they offer, she would be amenable to that.
I think it's a great
So we
idea.
could let her know maybe what some of the dates are that would be good for that.
Terrific.
That's it.
Before we go to warrants, I see Bone and Ashley are here. Hi. I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm going to. So Bone, don't hold it against me when I ask you for help with the ski program this winter. But I have seen all the stuff going on at the park this summer. My nieces were very interested in all the cranes when we drove by. They thought it was very cool. Are there any plans to do a presentation to the town or to talk about where you guys are with that? Oh, cool. Okay. Okay. I think that would be, I think it would be worthwhile to have it at a town board meeting to add it on. Yeah, yeah. So maybe we can talk about that, yeah. And we can make sure that the,
Audiovisual,
works.
the
and the
audiovisual works.
equipment works for you, although you did a very nice
Yeah,
job
right.
last time without it, so. Okay, so maybe we can talk about that, because I mean, I would like to know more and, you know. So, okay, great, thank you.
Warrants. I need a motion to bring the warrants to the floor, please.
Motion.
Second.
Is there any questions or comments? Are there any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. Call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Supervisors report?
It was the last, the last, she doesn't have one in the packet with this one.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, that leads to privilege of the floor. Privilege of the floor? Yes, Ms. Zimmerman. I can't, please. Probably. They get to see my shining face, they should see yours.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Martha Webb. I've been helping to promote the effort to support our nursing home. I sent out a note last week. Maybe we should probably update that. There's really not much to update. We're running between 68 and 72 beds. Hiring it continues, but quite honestly, the workforce shortage across the whole Northeast, actually, in terms of health, is really difficult to find LPNs, clinical nurses, PTOT, and speech. But they are continuing to hire. So 68 to 72 is pretty good out of 82 beds. 72 is about optimum. We've not heard from the state. They're a year behind, not unusual. In terms of the Vital Access Program, which is key, keep in mind the Vital Access Program is short-term. It's maybe 2 years at most. It allows an entity like Elderwood to bridge current cash flow issues, financial issues, to try to get to a much more stable situation. But the underlying issue still is the Medicaid rate that gets paid by the state. And with 80% of the individuals on Medicaid, you can't run a business at 80% of cost. And so part of our effort is going to be advocating for trying to reform the Medicaid system. For us in a small town, trying to do that is difficult. But right now, it seems to be relatively stable, and bless you, relatively stable. And it's, and we have some members. I don't know if Amy wanted to say anything. No. But one of the things is that in terms of our committee that we try to help organize, we have family members. So we're getting real time information about what's really going on there in terms of quality. The nursing home just had its annual survey for those who love government. 7 people showed up for 5 days that reviewed virtually everything going on in the facility, from environmental to clinical to food to customer satisfaction, et cetera. And based on the exit comments by the chief surveyor, who happens to be head of survey for the state, said to Heidi, the administrator, that it was a very successful survey. They were pleased and satisfied. The biggest issue, bar none, besides the workforce, is the environment. That is the building envelope. It was built 50 years ago, and there's not a lot of capital. And so they're constantly fighting those issues. So we'll probably see some citations regarding environmental kinds of conditions there. So any other questions on it? Yes, Pete. Well, Medicaid, yeah. Well, the interesting thing about Medicaid is that it's a federal program administered by the state. The feds only ensure on an annual basis whether or not the state of New York is spending its $110 billion on Medicaid for 6.5 million people, whether they're doing it within the confines or of regulation. But otherwise, it's totally run by the state. The feds, honestly, that's a whole different issue. In terms of what they're trying to do to reform nursing homes. And they're going to be publishing relatively soon, starting in January, a whole new set of requirements that nursing homes have to stay in compliance with. For those who want to know more about that, you go on the CMS website, you put in Elderwood at North Creek, you will find its star rating. Medicare does a 5-star rating for nursing homes across the country. And fortunately, Elderwood is around 4. It is 4, I think. So the federal government, in that sense, is always ensuring compliance and equality, but it doesn't necessarily take over or drive the state to how would you call it, manage its Medicaid program. So just more than 1 out of 3 individuals in the state of New York are on Medicaid, 1 out of 5 families, 1 out of 4 children. Medicaid is the biggest program in the country for individuals who are disabled and poor. And the state spends extraordinary amount of money, but not enough on its nursing homes. Clearly, they're undermining the very confidence that we have that the quality can be ensured at the nursing home. Thanks for the question. Anything else? Amy, anything else I should add? Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Arthur.
Yeah, good.
Okay, privilege of the floor.
Yeah, I would like to put Mr. Barton on the spot for a bit here. Some of you or most of you may have gotten a flyer in the mail regarding the comment period for Barton's for the expansion of their mine. This is something that the board supports, and we would encourage the people that have gotten this to respond with a positive comment to encourage the expansion. Barton's Mines has been a long time supporter of our community, and we should support them back. This is the time we should do it.
Thank you, Paul. The support of the community in town board is deeply appreciated. After 5 years in town, we got our application complete by the APA. So there is a window opportunity for official public comment between now and October 10th. One of the additional letters is very helpful. And again, thank you so much for your support that we received that money.
Please. So everybody can hear you. And see your smiling face.
I just want to take a minute to say thank you to the town. We had some great support for moving around cones, giving us some tables on the corner for the Tannery Pond Community Day outdoor show last Saturday. It was a really successful, actually it was a week ago Saturday. Yeah, a week ago Saturday. But we had over 1,200 people attend. It was a real success in the sense that we collaborated with Greg Tomes with his glass blowing pumpkin patch and Rev Rail, and people were down at the depot. They were walking Main Street. I guess the art galleries were pretty busy, according to Kate. And it was just a really fun festival throughout the whole town. So we really look forward to continuing with that and hope that everybody had a great time. And I met the guy that got the mount that won that the mount today. He came and collected his win. We had a lot of great prizes, and we had a chili cook-off, and maybe next year a beard contest. So start growing them, guys.
It was great. You guys did an amazing job. My students won second place.
Okay, privilege of the floor. Going once, going twice. Okay, good. I call for an adjournment. I'll motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Motion.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. 2 years in a row, I missed that damn thing.